So a couple of days ago, I was on the phone with my pops. And during this call, he dropped this sort of gem on me that I know I will never forget. I mean, it was such a bar that I am here making an entire video just about that one point he made. Now, what he said was in context to some of the videos that I've done in the past when I speak on Black culture and how what used to be a subculture and what, the likes of Dr. Thomas Sowell called a subculture, this degenerate, sort of vile, criminal, depraved culture. It was on the fringes. We have now moved from a place where it is where it was sub to where it is the mainstream culture. And that's no surprise unless you're living in absolute delusion. And I'm not saying every Black person is a criminal or degenerate or whatever it is in America, but I am saying that it is the mainstream, meaning it is the most accepted. And what my dad said was this. He said, when a subculture has become the mainstream culture when the parents stop correcting the children. Now, before I get into this first video, I want to give y'all an example of how serious my pops is about this. Hopefully he doesn't mind me sharing the story. But essentially, when we were still back in Zimbabwe, I was born overseas. They like to call me a tether baby, right? See, I can't have an opinion about Black America, even though this is what I've known more than all else. Anyway, when we were kids, or my brother was first born 6 years before me, my dad said my children will not, curse. They will not curse in my house. There will not be any curse words used in my house. And he didn't either. He wasn't a hypocrite about that. So he said to his employees, because he had built out, successful ad business, etc. He said, if my child comes to me cursing, I know it happened because of one of my employees, because my brother would visit the offices, or I would when I was little. So he said, if they come back cursing, I know where it happened, or I know where it came from. It came from one of my employees. And he said, if I found out who was the one who was exposing my kid to this, you're going to lose your job. Or when I find out. Now, of course, that set a precedent at work where, people cleaning up their language there as well. And so again, it's like the cultural element is trickle down. If the parents don't accept something, the grandparents didn't accept something, then the grandchild or the child will not accept that thing. We've now gotten to a place where the aunties, the mamas, the big sisters, the big girl cousins, I'm starting in that section first because many of our boys and girls are being raised by mothers and women, and the man is almost absent and obsolete, right? But they're being raised in a culture where some of y'all may not feel comfortable watching this. I don't want to disturb your spirit at all, but it is going to be some grown women in a church, more specifically in a funeral, I believe it is, doing some very inappropriate things. Not like rated R or whatever. Is it rated R? Rated M? And for mature. Not that type, but might as well be. Oh, wait, let me bring that back. Now, here we have two grown women who are twerking in a church at a funeral. They getting on like, first of all, I don't know who it is that passed, but I have never been to a funeral in my life where people are laughing and getting on in that way. I haven't. It's not to say that you won't have moments of, you laugh and you enjoy, you outside reminiscing. No, I'm talking about they're in the funeral, casket's still up there, and they're twerking. Now, even without that context, if it was just these women in church are twerking, first thing that would come into my mind is that's not God. That's not church. That can't be. Or at least maybe it is a God. It's just small g God, some other God. God of, I don't know, God of degeneracy or something like that. God of depravity. But that's not the true and living God. That's not the fruits that bear from that sort of relationship with the true and living God. That's not it. Twerking is not a part of the curriculum. It is not a fruit. Y'all gonna get a kick out of this. Twerking is not a fruit of the spirit. Let me repeat that. Twerking is not a fruit of the spirit. Ladies, hear me and hear me well. Sisters, twerking is not a fruit of the spirit. You do with that as you may. I'm not going to tell you. You're going to do what you're going to do based off of that information. Now, going back to that statement my father made, when the mothers or the parents stop criticizing, stop correcting, stop disciplining around a specific issue, that issue has now become acceptable. It's become the mainstream. When a parent no longer has a problem with the kid cussing because the mama and the daddy are cussing, because the music that they're listening to in the background at all times are cussing. When the parents no longer have a problem with the child being on the loud pack, the Maui Wowie, the sticky icky, because the parents are doing it, that's an issue. And it's still an issue if the parents are trying to, change it in the child, but they're doing it themselves. That's just called hypocrisy. And to be a hypocrite is to be a liar. And if you are lying, then I can tell you whose spirit that you are operating from. I'm sure you can guess it from my folk out there who have opened up that good old word. So I came across that right there. Then I came across this right here. Now, some would say, well, it's better in comparison because it's not in a church, but so now imagine your child runs up in the store, your little one, and they start tearing the store up like this. Look, they start throwing stuff over. They start tossing all kinds of things, tossing signs down, just real big backetry, real big back behavior, right? Let go and have fun. I bet she is. So imagine your child runs up in the store and does that. What's the first response and reaction that you're going to have as a parent? Maybe you're a grandparent now, your kids are grown, but let's say that was your kid back in the day. What are you going to do in that situation? Let me know in the comment section below. What are you going to do if your child runs up in the store and starts acting like that type of fool, that specific subgenre of foolishness? Now, I'll tell you what I'd do. I would handle it. I would deal with it accordingly. And it would not be a gentle parenting, as they like to call it. Now, I'm not going to abuse my child. Come on now. But it's not going to be gentle parenting. The lesson is going to stick. Simple as that. Now, this just so happens to not only not be a child, but this is somebody's mama. This is somebody's auntie, somebody's big sister, and this is the sort of example that she is setting. This is the cultural acceptance. That response is a culturally accepted response within the quote unquote community. Now, a lot of black folks out there like to get mad at people like me and others who speak on these subjects. And the reason they like to, refer to us as sellouts or whatever it is because they need some sort of way to shut us up, because looking in the mirror is a painful experience when you've been avoiding them your whole entire life. When you have been told that good is bad and bad is good, and somebody says no, bad is bad and good is good here, and you are being bad, you're being evil, you're on the side of darkness as opposed to good. No, but I'm a Christian. Only God can judge me. Where are the fruits? You shall know them by their fruits. Look, the devil can tell you he believes in Jesus. The devil can tell you, of course he does. He believes in him more than you do. Terrified. But oh yeah, Yeah, on Sunday we gonna you on stage singing on Sunday, but on Saturday you were singing on another stage twerking. You were on top of a table at a club with dudes pouring champagne on you, twerking. And the next day you showed up at a church and you thought that meant something. Come on, man. Now we're playing. We're playing. This is modern day mainstream black culture. And I almost gave up on it. I did. There was a video that I did a couple of days ago, which was my begrudging coming back to this one, because God said, I know you think you're done with this, but I'm not done with them. I'm not done. I felt like Jonah a little bit. I don't want to go to Nineveh. They're crazy. They've lost their ever-living minds. They have no sense in them. They are murderous. They're devious. I'm good off that. I know what they're about. And God said, yeah, okay. But that's not what it's not what I asked you to analyze. I asked you to go there and tell them the truth. And you're going to tell them to their face that they've been living wrong. Huh? Okay, God, but I already did that and it's not your job. I'm the one who's going to bring the transformation. You just do what you're supposed to do. And so here we are again. In black culture, there has been a distinct break from the old and the new. The old used to have reverence and respect for God. Even those who were not given over to the gospel, who had not given their lives to Yeshua, the Messiah, Jesus the Christ, even they had some level of respect and reverence. Now you go into a so-called black church and you are liable to see the same things that had happened in the club the night before and are going to happen that same night at the lounge. Same activities, same communication styles, same temperament of the heart. There's a clear and distinct break. There is your grandmama, your great grandma, because your grandmama at this point, she might as well be a part of that whole entire collective. There is your great grandmother who feared God, who made sure to raise her babies in the ways of the Lord. That was your great and your great great grandmama and your great great granddaddy. He said, at the very least, I may have my little drinking problem. Lord, work with me. But I got to bring my babies to do right. I got to bring them to church. We have to do something different. Lord, I know I'm struggling with this woman, but let us keep this household together for the sake of raising your children up in the ways of the Lord. Please help me. Nowadays, what? They're not having the babies out of wedlock nowadays by mistake. They're calling it baby mama, baby daddy. They say, that's my future baby mama. That's my future baby daddy. Are you not? Maybe this is new to you. Maybe you don't know anything about what I'm talking about. Maybe this is novel, but it's not to me. It's not. I've been inundated and saturated with it most of my life. Oh man, that's my future baby mama right there. What? You mean your wife? Wife? Nah, I ain't getting married. What? Crazy. That's my baby daddy. Why? Because he's a godly man? God? No, because he gets to the bag. But he's a criminal. But he steals, kills, and destroys. I mean, look, he got the bag or whatever. He does a little time or whatever. Whatever. I don't get, you know what I mean? Like, that's my baby. That's my baby daddy. Okay, well. All right, good luck with that. Sean Quisho, good luck. Good luck with that one there. Oh, my. Again, fellas, I ain't forget about you. You're looking at the rear end of a woman and you believe that that's going to raise your children, huh? What did you like about her? What brought you to the conclusion that this was a wife? I mean, you see, man, you know what I mean? She's stacked. You know what I mean? She's thick. Really? She's thick is what led you to want to procreate with her, to raise children with her. Not her heart, her mind, her faith, her virtue, integrity, dignity, modesty. No, you want the opposite of that. You want a fellow devil to join you in your demon activities. That's what you want. And you call yourself the church. It's a farce. It's a lie. It's a scam that y'all are running. And the person that you're scamming more than anybody else is yourself, because you got to deal with it. See, when you don't accept the truth about you going down this road to hell, you're the one who ends up there. You know what I'm saying? It's not somebody else doesn't get your penalty. Somebody else doesn't get your results about this life on that judgment seat. It's not going to be anybody else. It's going to be you. You're the one who's going to get that. You're the one who's going, well, life review. Well, how did you live? Let's see it. And it ain't going to be judged. God that has to judge you. You're going to be judging yourself. You condemned yourself already. You lived a lie. You lived a life of depravity. You lived a life where you were your own God, and your mama did the same and her mama did the same. Your daddy was gone and his daddy was gone. And it was their fault. Even if it was, man, you know, he got shot up in the streets. Why? What was he involved in? In street activities? Oh, man, you know, Pop's been locked up since I was like 3 or something. Why is Pop's locked up since you're 3? Because of the decisions that he is making as a conscious adult male? Nah, but you know, he didn't know no better. Okay, now he does, right? How's he living today? You know, the word repentance, I used to think that, you know, it just meant, oh, sorry, God, I'm so sorry. Please, God, please. And then you just go back and do whatever. No, it means acknowledging and turning away from, completely, absolutely null and void. There is no more of it. I'm done with it. I'm done with it. I'm washing my hands of it. Not dibble dabble, not 1 step, 2 step, knick-knack, paddywhack, none of that. I'm done. I'm finished. No more of it. That's why if you've noticed, it's like in the last few months, even last few weeks, my own language is cleaned up. And I wasn't using, you know, too much vulgarity like back in the day, especially my personal life. But there's been a shift and a transformation that's been taking place within me and has been showing and displaying. And, you know, I can't live the same way. I can't be the same person when God is trying to make a transformation and sanctify it. And then I'm trying to resist it and go the other way. You're talking about, yeah, you know, me and God like this, me and God like this. But you're talking about, where's the Hennessy at? Where the weed at? Are you serious? Nah, I know. Look. I said, God, if you're going to be sending me to speak to your children, they're still yours. I'm gonna have to. I can't hide. I can't hide it. I can't hide how it makes me feel. It breaks my heart. And it also, excuse my language, but there's a better word. It irritates me. Worser degree than that. It pisses me off. I just say that. It does. Because it's one thing to be a child who simply doesn't know. And it's something entirely different to be adults that are perpetuating this. And when you know that this is a people who were so close to God, who leaned on God and prospered from it before Jim Crow was over, this is 1960s prior. Black folk in America, in the context of struggle, were thriving. I'm not saying every, but those who made different decisions were thriving, folks. Their children were doing better disproportionately than their white counterparts. And somebody tried to tell me some nonsense out there. And this is why you got to read so you can debunk any sort of nonsense where it comes from. They said, well, actually it makes, technically it's genetics because they had white blood. And so, the Southern blacks had white blood. And I said, sorry, buddy, got news for you. It is actually Northerners. Sorry, buddy. That education was coming from the North. And so when it reached the South, it was actually New Englanders, black and white New Englanders, that were setting a different precedence. I don't go for it was genetics. No, I go with it is your culture. It is your standard. And when your standard is non-existent, you end up with Rasputia running up in the store, a whole entire grown woman knocking stuff over, having a whole entire childlike temper tantrum, the type you would not even allow your child to get away with one iota without there being real life consequences. But yet that's the mothers, that's the aunties, that's the fathers, you don't even have granddads anymore. You don't even have a grandfather culture because the grandfathers are losing their lives before they even play the role of a father. Because the man is no longer necessary in the house. And men, this is our problem and our fault too. If you call yourself a leader and you're supposed to be the leader within your household, what are you doing running away from your responsibility? You're supposed to fight. You laid up with that crazy woman. Now you deal with it. You crazy too. Both of y'all crazy. Crazy meets as crazy does. You are crazy too. Now go and deal with y'all crazy situation that y'all created. Deal with it. Take responsibility of it. Handle your business. You brought that child here. You're raising that child in the best way you possibly can. Yes, you're providing. Yes, you're protecting. Yes, you're changing your ways so this child doesn't have to grow up with your own specific hangups. Yes, you're making those sacrifices. And you want to bring God into it? At least just don't play with God. God will not be mocked. Don't even bring God up if you're not going to do what's right. Don't even bring God up if you're not willing to transform and be transformed. Don't do it. Don't do it. Just don't, because you're making a terrible name. That's actually, I heard this and I forgot who was saying it, but he was saying that's the truest essence of taking God's name in vain. You're just using it. Oh yeah, Jesus this, Jesus that. You got these celebrities, you got these streamers and these whatever that are talking about Jesus, but then they got gangbangers and twerkers on their platforms every other day. That's real life blasphemy right there. That's a different brand of it. Don't even do it then. Just don't. Just don't. Just go ahead and tell them, hey, your daddy's the devil. Like, Playboy Cardi or Tinashe, what? Just go ahead and tell them straight up who you came from so you don't confuse the other kids. You don't confuse the babies coming up. And they're going to look at you and be like, that's Jesus? Oh, wow. These so-called black pastors, God accept you as you are. No, he loves you as you are, but he wants to transform you. He wants to change your heart and change your life, and he wants you to bear the fruit thereof for your good and your sake. People think you're doing a favor, not only acknowledging, but submitting to Christ. You think that you're doing him a favor. Yeah, that pride is going to have to be worked through for sure. Otherwise, don't even bring it up. And you're in them churches and you got people up there that you're paying to tell you what you want to hear as opposed to the truth. You came in there in 2005 and you're still on the Hennessy. You still rolling backwoods and nobody's told you any different. Well, only God can judge me. You don't even know him. No, I didn't come for a kumbaya session. I didn't come. Can't we all just get along? Oh, that would be fantastic. No, I came for the corrective aspect. I lived it. I came from it. I was sent from it, out of it. I was saved out of it. And now I'm here for it. I'm not going to sit here with you like your therapist is going to sit. Tell me how you feel. No, because you use that. You weaponize that. You manipulate that. When people try to be tolerant and all this sort of other stuff, nah, you use and abuse them. You play victim. None of that's going to work. I'm here saying, look, this really might be your last chance. Because the way you're moving right now, this really might be it. This might be the end of it. I don't know. Look, no man knows his day. No man knows his own hour. No man knows when it's going to all come to a wrap. And now there's no going back from it. You don't know if it's today, but you're over here playing. You think it's a joke. You think it's funny. You think it's cute. I'm not talking about religion. I'm talking about real life relationship here. Maybe you got your religion down. Maybe you doing all the right things on the outside so everybody can look at you and think one type of way or some type of way. No. That's not going to count for anything. Did you know him? Do you know me? And if you're listening to this, is because you've been somebody who he been knocking, and you say, get away. I don't want to hear it. I want to party. I want to listen to NBA Youngboy and live his lyrics out in real time. And I'm not just talking to the children. I'm talking to the dads, the fathers, the baby daddies, the mothers, the grandmothers in some of these cases. If you do not adjust and correct and do it the right way with an earnestness of heart and repent from your pride, you have become so prideful. Dear black men and black women in America, you have become so prideful. You have become so self-absorbed. You worship your own skin color. Racial identity has become your God. You need to let go. You need to let go. You need to repent. You need to release that spirit up off of you. You need to stop dedicating your life at the altar of blackety blackness. There will be no Jew, no Gentile, no black, no white, no man, no woman. None of that matters. None of that matters. In God's eyes, none of that means anything. You're over here fighting causes off your skin color, using it as a reason and as an excuse to continue to push your hatred and your resentments. And you can't forgive, even though you didn't even go through it. I'm going to wrap it up with this. You want to be mad about a slavery that you never went through, about a Jim Crow that never truly had its teeth sunk into you. You want to be mad about that. You want to be unforgiving about something you ain't even experienced. How crazy do you have to be? Wake up. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Now, if you'd like to stay around, make sure to click that little subscribe button down there, or you can show some love by going to the description below and clicking on the button titled Buy Me a Coffee. Leave a little something there, or click on the Cash App. Leave a little something here. Till the next time, peace.
I've been up for hours, I've been up for days, you staring at the ceiling, I've been counting strays, you I've been in my feelings, I've been out of mind, I've been getting visions of the other kind. I've been up for weeks, I'm in the count of blessings over count of sheep. I can never be the type to limit when it comes to me. I used to be the pleaser for the people I ain't even need.